Hello, good day and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be looking at how to solve quadratic equation. Now the question here says solve 2x squared plus 17x minus 42 is equal to 0. The first thing we are going to do here is to look at this. Here the coefficient is more than 1. So the first thing that we need to do is to multiply these two values. So we're going to say 2 multiplied by, let us now ignore the negative sign first. Let's just take 42. So 2 times 42 will give us 84. Now the next thing that we're going to do is to look for two factors such that when you multiply them, it's going to give you 84. And when you add them, you are going to get 17. An easy way to do that is to express this 84 in its prime factors. So we can rule a line now and write 84. So we say 84 can divide 2. That is the smallest number that I can divide. 84 divided by 2 will give you 42. 42 can also divide 2 again. 42 divided by 2 will give you 21. Then 21 can divide 3. 21 divided by 3 without remainder, it gives you 7. And then 7 in 7 will give you 1. So these values here will help us to get the factors of this 84. So two numbers that are going to multiply to get 84, that is what we are looking for. So we can here say 84 times 81, 84 times 1 will give you 84. Then 42 times what will give us 84 is 42 times 2. 21 times what will give us 84 is going to be 21 times 4. And 7 times what will give us 84, it will be 7 times 12. So now, these are factors that are possible. So we are going to check each of these pairs of factors and look for the pair that will give us 17 when we add them. So 84 and 1, when we add them, it cannot give us 17. 42 and 2, when added together, cannot give us 17. 7 and 12, when we add them together, cannot give us 17 as well. But if you check 21 and 4, there's a possibility of getting 17 from the addition. So what we just need to do is to appropriate the sign to each of them, and then we'll have the possibility of our 17, positive 17. So now we can now take two factors from this 21 and 4, two possible factors, such that when we multiply them, we can now come back to our 84. When we multiply them, because of this sign here, we can now say when we multiply them, it will give us 84 because of the negative sign here. And when we add them, it's going to give us positive 17. So if you look at 21 and 4, the possibility to do that is when this 21 is positive 21 and the 4 is a negative 4. So 21 multiplied by negative 4 will give us negative 84. And then when we add them, 21 plus negative 4 or 21 minus 4 will give us 17, positive 17. So now, in place of this 17, we can now rewrite the equation. We are going to rewrite the equation now. And what we are going to do is to replace the 17 at the middle. We're going to replace that 17 by 21 and negative 4. So I'll rewrite the equation and say 2x squared Instead of writing the 17 that is at the middle, we simply say plus 21. Don't forget to put x along with them, plus 21x minus 4x. So these two numbers will now replace 17 because 21x minus 4x will give us positive 17. Then the last number there in the original equation is 42. We are not using the 84. That 84 was just to help us get two factors to replace the positive 17. So we're going to write the original negative 42 in the equation, and we say is equal to 0. So now we are going to factorize by grouping. Checking these two, if we look at them correctly, the only thing that is common to them is x. So when we factorize, we'll be having x here, open bracket. This 2x squared, when you divide x, you are left with 2x. Then plus, when 21x divided by the x, which is the factor out, we are left with 21. So we have factorized these two now. Now coming to this last two, we are going to take whatever sign that is here. If the sign is positive, we take a positive sign. If it's negative, you take a negative sign. Then between 4 and 42, what is common? 2 is a factor common to them. So we're going to take 2 and open up a bracket. So this 4x divided by 2, we are left with 2x. Then this is negative 42. Because the sign outside this bracket is negative, whatever sign is here automatically changes to the opposite sign. So since this is a negative sign and this is negative, this negative sign becomes a positive value. If this is negative and this is a positive sign, here will become negative sign. So whatever sign is here must change as long as the outside sign here is a negative sign. So 42 divided by 2 will give us 21. And then everything is equal to 0. So now the next thing for us to do is to take these values outside the bracket. These values outside the bracket, and then we put them together in a bracket. So we have bracket open, the x outside here, I'm going to take it, and then the negative 2 here, I take it and then close the bracket. Then if you check, these two brackets are the same. That shows that we have factorized correctly once the two brackets are the same. So we just simply take one of them. So we have 2x plus 21. And everything is equal to 0. So the next thing that we're going to do now is to equate each of them to 0, each of the brackets. So I'll equate this one to 0 and say x minus 2 is equal to 0. That will give us one factor. So this 0 means nothing. So when this negative 2 goes to the other side, it becomes a positive value. So I'm left with x on this side is equal to the 0, I ignore it. Then negative 2 comes to this side, becomes a positive 2. So we now have one of our answer. Then similarly, this other bracket, 2x plus 21, we also equate it to 0. After equating it to 0, what we just need to do now is to write the 2x and then the negative, the positive 21 goes to the other side, it becomes a negative 21. So a negative 21 comes there. So now the next thing for us to do is to divide both sides by 2. So when we divide both sides by 2, here we'll be left with x, and then we'll say minus 21 divided by 2. So in conclusion, we can now say that the two values, positive values for this equation will be x is equal to 2. That is one of the positive answer. Then, or we take this second value, which gives us x is equal to minus 21 all over 2. So these are the two positive values for this equation. Now, we can as well solve another equation so that it becomes easy for us to really understand. So I want to check and see how we can solve another one so that we find it easy to fully understand how to do this. So let me take another equation that says, I'll call this number 2, and then I'll say 3x squared minus 5x minus 50 is equal to 0. As usual, we're going to multiply these two values together. We ignore the sign first, so we're going to say 3 multiplied by 50, and that will give us 150. So what you're going to do now is to look for the factors of 150 such that when we add those factors, we're going to have 5, negative sign 5. And the easiest way to get those factors is to break down this 150 into factors. So 150 can divide 2, and that will give us 75. 75 can divide 3, and that will give us 25. 25 can divide 5, that will give us 5. And 5 divided by 5 will give us 1. So we're going to see these factors now. 50, we're looking for two numbers that when we multiply them, it will give us 150, don't forget. So 150 times 1 will give us 150. 75 times what will give us 150? 75 times 2. 25 times what will give us 150? That is 25 times 6. And then 5 times what will give us 150? That is 5 times 30. Can leave this 1 here because it's still 1 and 150. So now let's see which of these factors we can add to give us 5, the negative 5 here. So if we check 150 and 1, when we add it, we cannot get 5. 75 and 2, when we add it, we cannot get 5. 25 and 6, when added together, there's no way we can get 5. 5 and 30, when we add it together, there is no way we can also get 5. So that means there's a factor that is missing in these factors here. So how do you get that extra factor? You start multiplying any two of these values and look for a number that is not here. So if I say 5 times 5, 25 is already here. If I say 3 times 2, 6 is already here. So what about if I say 5 times 3, 15? 15 is not here already. So 15 is a factor. That is what it means. So 15 times what will give us 150? Is going to be 15 times 10. That will give us 150. Now, this 15 and 10, is there a way we can get their addition to give us 5? Yes, it is possible. What we just need to do now is to appropriate the sign. So I think for us to get negative 5, we have to give this larger value, 15, a negative value. So the two factors required here will be minus 15 and 10, positive 10. Such that, don't forget this 150, because of the negative sign here, we are looking for two factors that will give us a negative 150. So minus 15 times 10 will give us negative 150 minus 150. And when we add minus 15 plus 10, is going to give us minus 5. So we now have our two factors. So what do we do next with the two factors? As usual, we use the two factors to replace this value at the middle here. So I'm going to write this equation and say 3x squared. Instead of writing the negative minus 5x, I'm going to use these two values to replace that minus 5. So I'm going to write minus 15. Don't forget to put x along with it. Minus 15 plus positive 10, that is plus 10x. Then don't forget you write this original value in the equation, minus 50. and everything is equal to 0. So as usual, we factorize by grouping. So what is common here is 3x. 3x, I bring it out in the bracket. What is left? 3x squared divided by 3x. We are left with x minus 15x divided by 3x. We are left with minus 5. Then I told you before, we take the sign that is here. Whatever sign that is here, that is what we are going to take. So I'll take the positive sign here. Then between 10 and 50, what factor is common? 10 is common. So I open up a bracket and say x, because 10x divided by 10, you are left with x. And then minus 50 divided by 10, you are left with minus 5. And everything is equal to 0. So once these two brackets are equal, they are the same, then we know that we are on track, that we are correct. So the next thing is to take these values outside now. The values outside, we are going to take them. So that will be 3x and then positive 10 plus 10. We enclose in a bracket and we take one of the equal brackets, that is x minus 5, and we say is equal to 0. So now we equate each of them to 0. So I have 3x plus 10 is equal to 0. This one will give me one of the answer that I'm looking for. So I have 3x is equal to, when this positive 10 goes to the other side, ignore the 0, we have negative 10. So I'm to divide both sides by 3 because of the 3 attached to x here. And when I divide both sides by x, I'm going to have x. When I divide both sides by 3, I'm going to have x is equal to negative 10 over 3. That is one answer from it. Then another thing is to take the second bracket and equate it to 0 again. So I have x minus 5 is equal to 0. So I take x, this negative 5, when it goes to the other side of the equation, it becomes a positive value. And I ignore the 0 there, and then I have positive 5. Now the next thing for me to do is to summarize or conclude my answers. So I have two values here, x equals to 5 and x equals to negative 10 over 3. So I can conclude now and say the final answer to this is x is equal to negative 10 over 3, or x is equal to 5. So these are the two positive or the possible values for x. So please, thank you for watching. Please share this video and like this video so that others can see as well and understand how to fully solve quadratic equation. And please do not forget to subscribe to this channel so that you can be notified of new videos like this.